May meet witches. This is Graybeard Crow Father. How y'all doing tonight? Hopefully you had a good past week. Things are going well for you. Hopefully you had a chance to do some of the homework over the past few videos, and I'll have another interesting homework for you tonight. Before I get started on the in-depth information, just wanted to remind everybody that Samhain is coming up in 3 days. So I can hope that you've been taking a lot of this information to get yourselves prepared and ready to do a Samhain ritual for yourself or with a group of friends if you have anybody else that's actually interested in doing it. So let's hopefully see you guys put to use what I've been talking about. I got a special visitor here tonight. This is my little girl, Snickers. She's 17 years old. She's my little buddy. She's the one who always likes to sleep with me when I'm curled up in the bed. All right, first topic tonight, Book of Shadows. Most covens and circles in traditional witchcraft have a Book of Shadows that is generally copied and passed down from member to member. It contains all the rituals and spells and lore and herbology and anything that has to do with that particular coven or circle, and just gets passed on and on. If you're a solitary and eclectic witch or Wiccan, then you're going to want to have your own Book of Shadows. Now, what you put in it is totally up to you. You can have poetry, music, spells, rituals, whatever you want in it. And as far as what the Book of Shadows is made of, that's totally whatever you feel works for you. If you don't have a lot of money to spend on something elaborate, that's absolutely fine. You know, some people just have a simple spiral notebook like that. Some people use the like the high school composite black and white type notebooks. Some people tend to splurge and get like little leather bound type books like this. They are bound inside. I don't have much of anything in here at all. I just had bought this one and realized that it was a little too small for me to be to be able to use. So I was using just a notebook for a long time, and then one day I actually went ahead and took the plunge and bought a big old leather bound book like this. And this one has quite a bit of rituals and spells in it, and I use it quite often, but I don't like to take it outside because with the weather being, you know, pretty crappy, I don't want it to get damaged or ruined. So for the most part, what I've been doing, and I know a lot of other people have been doing too, is using a digital book of spells. And that could be something that you use on, say, like a Google Drive or Dropbox or like OneDrive or whatever the case may be. If you don't feel secure in having it out there in the cloud or whatever the case may be, then you can go ahead and just get yourself like a thumb drive. Anything will work, and keep it on that. Or if you don't want it on a thumb drive, you can keep it on your phone if you have storage, enough space on your phone, and use whatever of the notepad apps that are on there and put it there. I think I've actually seen some apps out in the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store that give you a digital Book of Shadows. You can, download and copy whatever spells and rituals are out of those, or I think they actually give you the ability to actually go ahead and create your own information. Again, it's only personal use, so whatever you feel you want to put in there, that's totally up to you. I would say that in the beginning, you want to go ahead and just use something pretty inexpensive, for like, well, I don't know, 99 cents from the dollar store. You can get a spiral bound notebook and start from there. And then if you want, you can go ahead and elaborate on it and, you know, put all kinds of designs and symbols and everything on the cover or inside the cover, whatever the case may be. And then once you start writing in it, you'll find that you'll do it more and more often. I've seen people that have had their entire Book of Shadows written out in Theban, and it's like, wow, that's pretty good. You gotta memorize and know how to read the Theban alphabet for that. So they're pretty dedicated. I'm too lazy to do that. I just write mine out in you know, regular handwriting. So Book of Shadows, if you can, get one and start it. If you have already started it, great. Continue to use it and do what you need to do and put it in there for it. The next topic tonight is going to be Esbats. Now, there are two types that the Wiccans and witches tend to celebrate, and those are, sorry, I got another cat here. She jumped up. I thought she was going to knock the camera over. Sabbats with the 8 major Sabbats, and then in between the Sabbats are Esbats. Now, Esbats are traditionally when the coven or circle of witches get together and do magic and spells together. There are different times for the Esbats. You have your new moon, your full moon, and the crescent moon. A lot of times they don't really do much on the crescent moon, so it's usually the new moon and the full moon that they have Esbats together, when you do have groups that actually do come together for the Esbats. I know at this point in time it's practically impossible to get together with your group or circle or friends to do Esbats, but that being said, since a lot of you may actually be solitary, this is the perfect time to do a spell or a ritual on an Esbat. With the new moon, that is a time of new beginnings, and you would want to go out and do a ritual during the new moon. You just have to make sure you know what time of the month it is, and during that night go out and create your ritual and make your ritual. I'm not going to give you any ideas for spells because, again, that's totally personal and up to you, but it generally relates to new beginnings. So say you're looking for, a new job or a new, well, you don't want to really say new boyfriend or girlfriend because that would be putting up against somebody's will, but you could actually cast out at night to see if someone would be attracted to you with not pointing it at anybody in particular. New job, new car, money, if you really want to try and get that attracted to you too. The full moon is a time when you can do an Esbat for fulfillment or enlightenment. And if you would like, you can try casting spells or doing rituals to, you know, recognize your potential or bring fulfillment into your life. If you want, you can just, you know, Google some spells or rituals that have relations to do with the new, with the full moon Esbat instead. So, and if you find something, copy it down into your Book of Shadows. As far as any more topics tonight, I'm not going to go into much. It's been a pretty long week with everything's going on, and I know it's probably getting just as bad in whatever areas it may be in, unless you happen to live in like another country where they had the pandemic lockdown in New Zealand, say, because I know they got it really handled really well. So, homework for this week. If you can, get yourself a book, notebook, or if you really want to spend the money, if you're really going to dedicate yourself to it, and make that into your Book of Shadows. Then, once you have that book, write yourself a Esbat ritual or spell that you would like to try out. Now, with Samhain coming up, that's going to be a full moon that night, and I would say don't worry about doing a spell or a ritual or Esbat ritual or spell for that night, because it is Samhain, and that's going to be a really, really powerful evening, with it being the actual day, the 31st of Saturday, and a full blue moon that night. You're gonna feel a lot of power and a lot of magic that night. So save the Esbat ritual for the next month in November, and I'll try and look up and see when the next new moon and full moon are for the next video on Friday night. So that's your homework. Go ahead and give it a crack. And again, if anybody has any questions or anything they'd like to know that I'm covering tonight, please go ahead and comment on them. Everyone have a good night. This is Graybeard Crowfather. Blessed be, everybody.